Tom from Shanghai. Told you, this is a global show we have here. I remember listening a few weeks ago where you mentioned Shawn Michaels having a better career after his return in 2002. This made me start thinking about The Undertaker. Do you think he had a better career pre-2000 or post-2000 after returning as the American Badass? Very good question. I will always have a soft spot for undead zombie Undertaker because that's what I grew up with. And I loved the feud with Mankind. But he wasn't even in the best shape of his career physically until, I'd say, maybe 2006, 2007. You know, the feuds and the matches that he had in the second half of his career, that's what really cemented this man's legacy. The best work from the first half of his run came in the later part of it, from like 96 to 98. The matches with Mankind, the matches with Bret and Shawn in 97, the Kane storyline, right? One of the all-time storylines in this company. I personally never really liked the Ministry stuff. They had a cool song, but I never cared much for the corporate ministry or the Ministry. His return as the American Badass that night, though, in 2000 at Judgment Day is iconic. And the matches that he had with Brock Lesnar, with Kurt Angle, Randy Orton, Batista, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Edge, CM Punk, were all great. They were all classics. The streak. My God, the streak. There wasn't even a thing in the first half of his career. That became such a big selling point of WrestleMania and such a big part of his career. It's like what defines him now. You think of The Undertaker, one of the first things you think of is the streak. Well, that didn't exist. People didn't talk about that in the first half of his career. Not until he got to like 9-0, 10-0, and that came later on. So the answer is his post-2000 career. The second half, or I guess it's a little more than half, but that second part of The Undertaker's career post-2000 was the bigger part of his overall run. That's really where he peaked. He peaked physically, which is hard to believe because he was being told by doctors in 98 that he needed to retire then and have a double hip replacement. That was in 1998, the first time a doctor said that to him. He didn't hit his physical peak until like 06, 07, and then you look at the body of work he put together and, you know, the storytelling. He's very much a fan of that whole WrestleMania story arc for those 4 years. I think if you were to ask him, because he basically said this in all of the interviews that he's, done, he's most proud of that. From WrestleMania 25 through WrestleMania 28, there's like a 4-year period there. He's most proud of those 4 matches and that whole story arc that they put together. So even in terms of storytelling, he had the stronger run post-2000.